Welcome to Improving Your Digital Ministry Part 2, Tools, with Jason Arcega. We will cover what digital ministry tools are available, why you should use them, and how, even if you are on a tight budget. Jason will also be available for consultation throughout and even after the conference.
Now, last seminar, we talked strategy, how to improve. And this time we're going to specifically talk about tools that are available for digital ministry. But before we just jump into a list of tools of what's out there, because you can easily do that on your own, it's best to find the tools that fit a master plan or an overall strategy. We can get so bogged down with this tool or that tool, and we forget to ask if whatever tool you're using is actually working towards an overall goal. In this case, a church's overall goal still boils down to, does it fit the church's mission and vision and values? Then find the tools that help you do just that and spend what is necessary. So for me personally, the choice of tools balances the mission, needs of the church, immediate needs of the church, and budget. In other words, if the mission, for instance, is to love God, love people, serve the world, then it's important to ask, does a tool like an app help me do just that? Does it help me love God? Does it help me love other people? Does it help me serve the world? If it does, then that's an investment towards the mission and vision and nothing to be ashamed of, but it should actually be prioritized. If the need is to get the message out there, but you're on lockdown, so we need a tool to do that well, then such an expense is easy to justify. However, just because something is free, but does not really accomplish the mission, then don't solely rely on that tool without other things to fill the gaps. And that, I feel, is what's happening right now. Churches are relying on tools that are truly not fulfilling the mission. They're either way overspending or completely underspending. Underspending, you understand. Overspending, perfect example. I helped the church not too long ago with streaming, but found out they had just purchased a couple of really, really expensive cameras. It was great. That's fine. No one knew how to use it well. And then what's worse, it only gave them two angles. And from where they were situated, these were not great angles anyway. Whereas they could have just simply done the subscription to the same video switching program that we use and spent a whole whopping $600 to $900 the entire year, as opposed to several thousand. So I feel the problem is the pandemic has thrown such a curveball to church leadership. They started to ignore what the mission of the church was and just go into survival mode. They got online, they posted a service each week. And then once that was done, well, churches acted, mission accomplished. What's worse is that the views became the measurement of ministry success. And why not? Social media influencers, all they care about is how many subscribers, how many people are watching. And that's what's important. Remember, God's measurement does not look like that. In fact, God's measurement looks at the fruit of something. Did something the church or individuals do bear fruit that will last? And we don't have time to delve into John 15, 1 through 17. I highly recommend you read that even now, Galatians 5:22 and to 23. But I would encourage you all to take a moment to look at those passages and start using that as a measuring stick to ministry success. And with this framework in mind, let me show you what my church did and all the successes and failures. I'm just going to do this in chronological order. First thing, pandemic hits, shuts everything down. We all know that. We can't gather, so we have to figure out how to produce a service that people can watch and continue, a way to communicate, interact with people, minister to people's needs. Our mission is, at Barrow Community Church, is to connect people to Jesus. We kept it really simple. So, second thing we did, we met, prioritized pushing and enhancing our church app, our Facebook page, our YouTube page, Well, we didn't even really have a YouTube page, so we created one and then really enhanced the website. These became the 4 interfaces that we had with people, along with personal phone calls and emails, of course. Um, the app allows us to interact with everyone live while they watch the stream. It also provides a way for all communication, updates, bulletin announcements, testimonies, sermon notes, sharing of video, pictures, polls, surveys, questionnaires, recruit and organize volunteers, and so on. It also becomes a one-stop shop for the website and all social media and all these crucial interactive ways of meeting with people and their needs. And of course, it allows the users to give online. More on the app later. Number 3, filming of services began immediately. We used iPhones. We simulated live stream of them to the 4 interfaces on Sundays, even though they were filmed on Friday. Just set up 3 iPhones and then edited throughout the weekend. Number 4, we discover editing the service was so time consuming and such a monumental task. It was way too much for a volunteer. So we simplified and we discovered Switcher Studio. Switcher Studio is a subscription-based video switcher that allows iPhones and iPads to connect, talk to each other, and incorporates desktops as well. And we chose the $75 a month subscription. It allowed us to simply film the service live, just like we were doing regular Sunday service, stream it all at the same time, and chose angles from multiple iPhone angles. So we had, 5, sometimes 6 cameras going at once, plus the desktop running Pro Presenter for all the words during worship. Then we used an iPad to do the video switching. Now you need strong, reliable internet and a streaming service if you're going to do streaming to multiple platforms at once. Otherwise, it can just stream to either YouTube or only just Facebook. Number 5, we use Livestream to stream multiple platforms at once. They're $99 a month, but it allowed us to record the services and a bunch of other features such as full integration into our church app. So you can look at, there's various services out there. I'm going to list those, but you have to balance the features with the cost. So while something might be cheaper, it may not actually give you as much. Number 6, we had great success in our digital platform, reaching views of over 600 on Sundays sometimes. And as I said, that is not a true measurement of ministry success at all. But I mention it because our church at the time was a little over just 20 people in regular attendance. Now, one of the funerals we did saw streaming views of over 1,600, which spanned multiple states and even a different country. Number 7, as restrictions eased, we are now in a hybrid situation and will probably never stop streaming the services or never stop utilizing the app. 8, newsletters are pushed on the app as well as email. The church website is fairly static, except for its constant update of service streams. So we use the church website more as a library and the app as that active, interactive communication device. 9, events are now planned with the viewer and the non-intender in mind every time we plan an event. So hopefully that helps you see the rhyme and the reason behind choosing the products that we did. As I mentioned, we rely heavily on the app for good reason. It covers all the avenues of digital ministry. It has become our master communication device, and practically everyone has a mobile phone, even little kids. So here's a quick overview of some of the features of the app.
How do you reach people beyond the walls of your church? The Interactive Life app allows for new levels of immediate connection with your streaming audience. They can feel like a participant rather than just a watcher, whether attending in person or remotely. Triggered content will encourage the user to take notes, answer questions, and ask questions, sign up for events, or donate, all without leaving the stream. No one else can do that. The Interactive Life app has made it possible for new believers from all over the world to reach out for help and discipleship with specially integrated content.
Okay, many churches I talk to have zero budget, so they have relied heavily on the free stuff, and there is nothing wrong with that. We use both Facebook and YouTube, but we know we can't completely rely on it. So why not just stream to Facebook or YouTube since it's free? Well, a few reasons. Not everyone has or even likes Facebook or YouTube. The ads can be very distracting or even counter to what your church believes. Also, what's interesting, censorship is continuing, and there may come a day that you are not allowed to express an opinion other than Facebook's or YouTube's opinion of theology. Personally, I think that day is fast approaching. All right, let's take Facebook, for instance. I put together 5 issues I have with Facebook.
Streaming our church services on Facebook has been a lifeline. But as time goes on, it's not enough. Consider these 5 reasons why we need to do more. Number 1, interactions on Facebook are highly public. The only way to share needs is to publicly post them or send them to a nameless messenger account. Number 2, sharing your link is a great way to reach beyond the walls of your building. But Facebook is not a strong, cohesive home for your congregation. Number 3, Facebook does not allow you to know the details of who specifically is watching. Only people who are willing to leave a like or a comment are identified. Number 4, individual ministries within the church are not able to connect and interact, making it more difficult for church staff to even do their jobs. Number 5, there are literally thousands of streams simultaneously competing for the same audience. There needs to be a way to stand out from churches who may have huge resources and equipment. Without a building, the Interactive Life app gives your people a place to go. A digital home customized for your church.
As you see, you do get what you pay for. Facebook is free, but when it comes to deep ministry, you run into some serious drawbacks. Take a look at this breakdown. Here's why the number of views cannot be your measurement of how successful your ministry is. You see it? Most views are about 3 seconds or less. YouTube, it's also free. Advertising can be very distracting if not counter to the message you want to share. Censorship on both platforms are getting worse and worse. However, we have used it as a free archival of our Sunday services. All right, let's look at Zoom, Skype, free, conferencecall.com. These are all free. However, you have limits. You have limits on minutes. You have limits on numbers of people that can be a part of it. You have little or almost no customization. And frankly, people are tired of it. Your kids have been on it all year long. Streaming. Now, there are multiple companies that allow simultaneous streaming to various social media platforms with prices that all vary. What you want to be careful is, what are those features you are subscribing to? You want a way for everything you stream to be archived and also be edited. This is where the costs suddenly go up. Data storage. Streaming is inherently glitchy to begin with because it relies on so many factors that affect your streaming quality, like the internet reliability at the time or your location, routers, modems, bandwidth, and so on. So you definitely want a company that has live help when you need it. And a lot of companies don't have Sunday morning live help right there. Keep that in mind. I want to show you one more tool, and that is the tool you're actually on right now. So if you've been participating in it, it's called Stellar.online. It's a virtual conferencing tool, and your church can meet virtually with no outside interference or censorship. And it has all the power of this conference, but can be customized for your specific church needs. And so that means the auditorium can look like your auditorium. It can look like your church sanctuary, your youth group, the children's ministry room, the prayer room, and so on. everyone can attend all at once and go to their programs like you would in real life. The church staff can then manage their section of the program. Now, here's the thing. If lockdowns happen again because of the next pandemic, COVID 20, 21, 22, the churches using this tool will be totally ready.